zoomed-in image. Can you describe what was the testing that you requested as it related to just the item 001 hospital blood?
So if you see under testing requested, I asked for the 1303B test, which is cocaine and products panel on the blood, and then the 1480B designer opioids on the blood.
And going to just that first blood sample from the 225-23 at 2231, can you describe the toxicology results and kind of what those results mean? What is the result related to cocaine with the result of 78?
So this is the actual parent drug, cocaine, that was present at 78 nanograms per milliliter in the blood.
And can you describe what that means of parent cocaine? When someone ingests cocaine, are there things that happen within your body, and are there other substances that are created?
Yes, so the body, you'll absorb the cocaine and have this parent drug, cocaine, in the blood. And then, like I mentioned, the enzymes will break it down, and so you have breakdown products. So these other two that are listed, the benzyl ecgonine and the ecgonine methyl ester, are the breakdown products.
And can you describe the difference between the two?
So you typically don't see a large amount of ecgonine methyl ester circulating in a live person's blood, but it very well can form post-mortem in a tube of blood or even in the body as the blood sits there and they're awaiting to have their blood drawn, for example, at an autopsy. So when we look at these breakdown products in the autopsy setting, this ecgonine methyl ester was likely parent cocaine at the time of the person's blood draw.
Your Honor,
But
I would object to this witness testifying to things that relate to toxicology as opposed to a pathologist, as she has not been qualified as an expert on toxicology.
Okay, do you want to ask whether she can, from her experience, make that connection?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm happy to. Dr. Carney, do you have training and experience in toxicology and interpreting these findings because it is required for you to determine a cause of death?
Yes, ma'am. That's part of my job, is to take toxicology results in the autopsy setting and apply them and determine a cause of death.
Do you perform autopsies where the outcome of the circumstances is the person overdosed on narcotics?
Yes.
And so is this something that you do on a regular basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you extremely familiar with the topic that you were speaking about?
Yes.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. Go
May I take
ahead.
the witness on word honor?
I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
If you could continue, you were explaining that the ecgonine methyl ester, that it was most likely the parent cocaine. Can you describe what you mean by that?
So like I mentioned, this cocaine is about the only drug that does this, where the enzymes in the blood can continue to break it down after death. Most everything else relies on being circulated through the liver, and really nothing changes after death as far as if you get them to autopsy soon after death. In this case, the ecgonine methyl ester has formed because the esterase is in that clear top tube that didn't have the preservative to stop the breakdown, has broken down the cocaine into ecgonine methyl ester. So if you add the cocaine number and the ecgonine methyl ester number together, that will give us an idea of how much cocaine was in her blood at that point in time on February 25th, 2023 at 2231.
And so is it your testimony that that amount would be 7,878 nanograms per milliliter?
Yes, ma'am.
So that would be the concentration of cocaine in Jade Benning's blood on February 25th, 2023 at 22:31 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Carney, you've already testified that you have performed autopsies where someone has overdosed. Can you describe, is that amount of cocaine in a person's blood, is that common?
No. And
so when you first got got this case, you said you were talking to Dr. Bertolari, is that correct?
Correct.
Did people from my office, including myself, meet with you kind of early in the process, specifically about these toxicology results?
Yes.
And at that time when we met, had you ever seen an amount that high in an autopsy?
No.
And did you, I guess, go back and look at other autopsies that were done in your office?
I look primarily at my cases because I'm familiar with those. I've interpreted those. And that was almost 300 cases that I signed out. The cause of death or contributory cause of death, including the drug cocaine.
And in that first time that we met, had you ever seen anything close to that level?
I could not recall anything this high.
What would a typical level be in a overdose where it's just cocaine, no other substances, that you were familiar with from your 300 cases?
So I went back over the acute cocaine intoxications, and they're pretty much all under 1,000 nanograms per milliliter. 2 or 3 were in the 1,000 to 2,000 range.
And since that first meeting that we have, did you do another review looking for anything that compared to this particular result?
I did go back through looking at all of my acute cocaine intoxications, really trying to look at those carefully. I even looked at dozens of the ones that had cocaine plus other drugs involved.
And did you find anything that was similar to that amount of 78 nanograms per milliliter?
I found one.
And can you describe what was the result in the one case that you found?
The cocaine level was 10,000 nanograms per milliliter in the blood.
And going back to the ones that you had done that you initially reviewed where 1,000 was the highest, can you describe what were the findings in your autopsies of the method of ingestion?
So a lot of these we do have scene investigations. They look for drug paraphernalia, and in many of those you would find evidence that the person smoked it, or perhaps we would call it nasal insufflation or snorting it, or intravenous injection if they were able to put it in a syringe and inject it into the veins.
Had you ever, I guess, done an autopsy before where oral ingestion was the method?
It's very uncommon, and I did not recall cocaine ingestion being a common method of administration.
And that one case that you found that the medical examiner's office and autopsy was performed, what was the method, or can you just describe the circumstances of that particular case?
That one was believed